What's up guys, this is Jen and I'm here to show you my version of the Danger Tearlaments deck profile. Now, I'm going to try to make this very easy to follow along for the newer players to the game because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is complicated as is, and I would also love for you guys to try out this deck. Before we get started guys, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment down below your opinions and how you would build this deck. Now, let's get into the deck profile. But before that, go over to HeadtoHeadBattles.com for all your TCG accessory needs. We offer you the highest quality protection for your cards while giving you something to keep in your collection forever. Links are in the description box down below. First, we are starting off with our Tearlament package, which we play 3 Merly, which if she is normal or special summon, you can mill 3. Next, we play 3 Tearlaments Shiren, which she is able to special summon herself, then send 1 card from the hand to the graveyard, then you can mill 3. Next, we play 3 Tearlaments Hofness, which she is essentially a quick effect hand trap that allows you to special summon her, then mill 3, which can get you that turn 0 window. So from the hand, Hofness would have to directly chain to a monster your opponent controls. And finally, we are playing 3 Rhinoheart, which special summons himself if he is sent to the graveyard, and having a tier card to send from the hand to the graveyard. So you do want to max out on the tier cards so that you are able to mill them to the graveyard for their effects, especially because Merly, Shiren, and Hofness allows you to fusion summon if they are sent to the graveyard. And finally, while piloting or even playing against Tearlaments, a lot of them activate in the graveyard, and sometimes we can actually forget which effects were used. So I do recommend that next to your life points, you write down the initials of the tier that was used, then cross them out at the end phase to maintain that legal game state. So, you know, like M for Merly, K for Kakalos, and so on. I am still keeping the Shaddoll package because Winda is just too good to give up. So we are playing 1 Shaddoll Squamata and 1 Beast. Squamata allows you to Foolish Burial Shaddoll card, which would be Beast, which would allow you to get that free draw 1. As for our hand trap lineup, we are playing, of course, the 3 Ash Blossoms, the 2 DD Crows, and I actually just added this. We are also playing 2 Ghost Bells. Now, Crow and Bell are really good for the Sprite Toad matchup because you can banish or negate their Toad. And Bell is also a really good hand trap because it can stop, you know, cards like Water Enchantress, Ray, Branded in Red, and actually even the new Runic Fountain, which will stop their draw 3. And when you guys are playing against Tearlaments, you definitely don't want to ash any of the dangers because they can just use the dangers again. And other cards like Infinite Permanence will stop Kakalos, so they can't get that Add or Foolish Burial, and also their Graveyard Mill 5 effect. And as for DD Crow, you can immediately chain it when they are activating any tier card in the graveyard to fusion summon because they do need to include that said material for the fusion summon, so just remember that. Now for our new bread and butter, the dangers. So they definitely give you more extenders for the deck, and for the newer players, the danger cards all share the same 2 effects, which you can 1, reveal from the hand, then your opponent chooses 1 random card and you discard the chosen card. Then if the discarded card was not the danger card, you can actually special summon it and draw 1. But if the danger was discarded, you can trigger their effect. So when the Tearlament card gets discarded by this, you are actually able to proc their effect, which is really good. So let's start off with 3 Danger Nessies, and Nessie is really good because it is an aqua, so you can make Kakalos with it, and when Nessie is discarded, you can add another danger card from the deck. Next, we are playing 2 Danger Mothman. When this is discarded, both players draw 1 and discard 1. So you can actually proc your tier cards if it does get discarded. And as for the 1-ofs, we are playing 1 Jackalope, which you can actually special summon another danger in defense if it is discarded. So you can actually summon out like a big body like Bigfoot. Next, we are playing 1 Danger Tsuchinoko, and if this is discarded, you can just special summon itself. And finally, we are playing 1 Danger Bigfoot. It is a nice card when you are going second because you're actually able to pop 1 face-up card if it is discarded. And for the danger cards, it also provides more dark types to link into Curious, but they actually do put in the Nibiru range fairly quickly, so you guys really have to be mindful of that. Next, another new addition to the deck is actually 1 Fairy Tale Snow. This is an insane card because it is a Book of Moon when it is normal or special summon. And if you can actually pair it with Tearlament Meta Noise, your opponent is just literally ending their turn. So you would want to have this in the graveyard, preferably from Curious's effects, so you can banish 7 and special summon it to proc her effect. Now on to our spell lineup. Of course, we are playing the 3 Primordial Planet Perle Rhino. I hope I got that right. On activation, you can add a tier monster, and all your tiers and fusion monsters gain 500 attack. And the final effect, which is insane, is when the tier cards are shuffled back into the deck, you can actually destroy 1 card from your opponent's field. Next, we are playing, this was in our side deck before, but 3 Super Polymerization, which is really good for this deck, especially with the new Super Poly target Garura, which you can actually easily summon it out when you play against decks like Sprites or Exo Sisters that will just immediately break their boards. Next, we are playing 2 Dark Ruler No Mores, which is an amazing card when you are going second, but regardless, Sprite Toads is a very relevant deck, and the Dark Ruler will stop their field, and you can just play without any interruptions. Now for our power 1-ups, we are playing 1 Terraforming, 1 Instant Fusion for the Kakalos, and 1 Foolish Burial for, obviously, any of the tier cards, and of course, 1 Called by the Grave. And for the Tearlaments matchup, Called by is also really good because you can call by any of their tier monsters in the graveyard. And that actually completes our spell lineup. Now for the traps, we are only playing the 1 Tearlament Meta Noise, which is the Book of Moon, and 1 Tearlament Sullic. But for Meta Noise, it's considered pretty bad in the mirror since you can actually fuse down with face down monsters. But with Tearlament Sullic, if this card is milled, you will always get that net advantage, and you can actually do, something in the mirror. And Sullic lets your tier field effects dodge Imperm or Veiler by actually targeting and sending them to the graveyard as part of the effect, and you can trigger the graveyard effects. And obviously, since it is a continuous trap, there's a chance that you'll actually get to use it in later turns. Okay guys, now on to the extra deck. Let's start off with the fusions, the Tearlaments, Kaleido Heart, and 2 Kakalos. When Kaleido is summoned, or if an Aqua monster is sent to the graveyard, you can actually shuffle 1 card your opponent controls back into their deck. And if this is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon it, then Foolish a tier card. And with Kakalos, you can Foolish Burial a card or add a tier card if she is summoned. Another effect that she has that is you can actually target 1 monster you control, including herself, and special summon a tier monster from your hand or graveyard, and if you do, you send the targeted monster to the graveyard. So obviously if this is sent to the graveyard, you can build 5. Next, of course, we are playing the 2 El Shadal Windas, and I don't think there's really much to explain about Winda, you guys. You guys know, each play can only special summon it once, and it does stop a lot of decks today. Next, we are playing the 2 Dragostapilius, which is basically just a negate, and with the effect with the Predator counter making the monsters into a level 1, especially with sprites, it can really slow down their plays. Next, for our Super Poly targets, we are playing the 1 Mud Dragon and 1 Garura, which are, fairly easy to make in the game right now. Next, we are playing our Xyz with 1 Time Thief Redoer, which you can constantly stack materials during the standby phase by taking cards from your opponent. But the other effect to actually banish itself by detaching 3 cards, 3 monster cards to be exact, you can proc all the tier cards that were detached. Next, we are playing the 1 Abyss Dweller, preferably for the mirror matchups, and it's just really good with any decks that activates a bunch of effects from the graveyard. Plus, Dweller with Rhino Heart as material, it actually reaches 2200, which is sometimes really nice. Now for our links, we are playing the insane Curious Delight Sworn Dominion. It's basically a Foolish Burial in monster form, which you can send Snow to proc her graveyard effect. And if a card is sent to the graveyard, you can actually mill 3 cards, which works amazing in conjunction with tiers. Next, we are playing the 1 Sprite Elf, 1 IP, and 1 Topologic Bomber Dragon. Okay, so it took me a while to see how these cards work in conjunction with each other, but I think I kind of got it. So once you have the Sprite Elf and IP out on board, during your opponent's turn, you can go Chainlink 1 Elf and then Chainlink 2 IP, using IP's effect to summon out Bomber Dragon, and then use Elf's effect to summon out your Merly from the graveyard to the zone that it points to. Which then you can Chainlink 1 Bomber, which is actually mandatory, then Chainlink 2 Merly's effect to mill 3. Then Bomber Dragon will actually resolve to destroy the entire main monster zone, so you can actually activate Merly's graveyard effect. So that is it for our main deck lineup. So for our side deck, it is still a working list, and of course this is where you add your unique tech choices. For mine, I am still playing the 3 Nibiru's. I mean, this comes in handy with any deck, like, to be honest, in the meta right now. And then we are playing the 3 Drolls. Sometimes even with Flues. Flue is still a very relevant deck in the format, so I would side in Drolls. And then I am actually playing the 3 Cosmic Cyclones. I used to play Lightning Storm, but I just felt that the Banish effect is just too good to give up for this, so I am keeping that as now. And I am playing the 3 Evenly matches for, you know, just for all the board breaks. And finally, guys, my personal tech choice that I am still playing is 3 Grizzly Prisons. This actually won me a couple of games, especially during like Sprite matchups or even Exo Sisters, because your opponent basically can't summon Synchros or Xyz if you control a fusion monster. So it kind of works really nice with tiers especially when I was playing branded tiers, and you know, they can't attack, and this just goes on until their next turn. So it's basically your Lambo of your D barrier. Okay guys, and for siding against Tearlaments, D-Shifter is a must. The card instantly stops tiers because obviously they need to all go into the graveyard. Also, even cards like Different Dimension Ground or D-Fissure will prevent the tier player literally from playing. So guys, that was my deck profile for Danger Tearlaments. I hope you guys liked it, and if you guys love content like this, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment down below how you like my deck list, or what other tech choices that you have, or any advice that you would like to give me. I read all of your comments, and thank you guys so much for all your love and support. So guys, I don't want to keep you for any longer. This was Jen from HeadtoHead Battles, signing out.
What's up, guys?
If you haven't subscribed, make sure to click that button right there in the middle.
Also, if you haven't watched that video that YouTube is recommending you, it's probably crazy, alright? Go watch it. This is Susu from HeadtoHead Battles.
Jen from HeadtoHead Battles,
signing out.